waiting for our welcome home slide.
This moves easily to set for the different heights.
Okay.
So just adjust it for your needs.
And he knows nothing about microphones. Here we are.
Well, I don't. Welcome home. We're glad you're here. We like to start each gathering with an acknowledgement of the land we are on.
Sure.
There we go. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. Oh. Now our welcoming affirmation. There we are. If you can get me out of the way there. We'll say the top part together, and then we will turn to someone and say, "You are so good looking." Got that from Seinfeld. It just makes everybody happy to hear that. So here we go.
We all get a mirror.
We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. You are so good looking. Here's our weekly schedule. Take a moment to soak it in. Okay. Highway cleanup. Max, you want to come up and say a few words?
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
You're watching the highway. You want to come up and say a few words about this?
Second Saturday. Go up there and say that. Oh, go.
Yeah.
This is good.
Max is approaching the lectern.
I have to say, you're a natural, and I'm not.
Oh, you are.
Oh, thank you. We have highway cleanup coming up. It'll be the second Saturday in July. I don't know what date that is, but okay, that, yes. And we'll meet at the hole in the wall. Oh, okay. 13th. We'll meet at the hole in the wall in Arcata. And I'll be sending out a notice. And if you haven't participated in the highway cleanup and you'd like to, let me know or somebody know, Rick know, Angelica, Anna, and we'll be in touch with you. We'll send you a notice. And it's fun. You get lots of exercise, and it's a wonderful service for our community.
You have to qualify.
Yes. Yes, you do. You have to be alive. Yeah, I think that applies to most of us. Okay, all right. Any other questions? Thank you.
Have a nice day. Have a nice cleanup.
Thank you, Max. Okay, be part of creating our mural. That's what it's going to look like. And that will be the last week in July and the first week in August. And you can be part of it by, here's the grid that we've got. And each square or rectangle, or there's a trapezoid down here, costs $22. And you sign your name, and then you initial or write in your name whichever squares you want to be associated with. And it was just brought up today, most people will write a check and then write mural at the bottom, or they'll donate online and make a note that says for the mural. But if you want to pay cash, you can use one of these envelopes and put that in the collection tray, or give it to Susan or Nancy. And this will be over on the table.
Rick, are you gonna paint the bottom of the ramp?
You mean the front here?
Yeah.
No. She could, it would cost extra.
And it got the handrails and everything and get stirred on it.
You can paint it, Brian.
Let's just wait and see what she does. It's not gonna look exactly like that anyway.
So where's the mural gonna be?
On the side of, parking lot side of the building.
Bookstore, July sale, great summer reading. I think it starts today. We can call it July. All new books except Reverend Angelica's are 20% off. So take advantage of that. What is the book club currently reading?
A book called Flight by,
Van and somebody,
Vanta Wood.
Van and somebody.
Yeah, I can't
Isn't it
remember her name.
Bronte?
It's really good. We're on chapter 17 or something.
Flight?
Flight.
Flight is the current book club meeting selection.
It was hard to get into it first, but now it's getting better.
That's why you should read the ending first. I think we still have some bookends left over from the Twice Nice sale. Our little pantry is always open to receiving new goods. What's the ramen situation?
It's starting to get lower.
The ramen is actually starting to get lower.
You guys, when you're talking, they can't hear you.
The ramen situation is still holding, so you don't have to bring ramen, but you can bring all those other things. This month's theme is Holy Boldness. Now, you know, there's a lot of talk and work being done in artificial intelligence these days. And there was one guy that wanted to, very ambitious, he wanted to invent a computer that could answer any question. And so he invented it, and he was very smug about it. And he instilled into the computer some humanity that other computers just seem to lack. So this computer would be sarcastic and, you know, he'd ask it a question like, is that person at the end of the room over there married? And the computer would know. And he'd go, well, duh, yes. And so he asked him one day, I'm getting tired of this sassy computer, even though I invented it. I'm going to ask it where my father is. He'll never know. It will never know. They'll never know. So he said, where's my father? And the computer said, your father is playing billiards with a man named Joe Sullivan in a pool room in Pittsburgh. And he went, ha, my father is dead. And he said, your mother's lawfully wedded husband is lying in repose in the City of Brotherly Love Cemetery in Philadelphia, you bastard. So with that moment of peacefulness, I'm going to bring, is Edward here today? Oh, Angelica is going to give us our moment of peace with Jackson.
I'm going to take our moment of peace from this very popular book. This is my book.
Know the author.
Yes, please note the author, Angelica Jane Taggart. She's pretty amazing. This is a daily reader, just in case anybody doesn't know. So since I didn't see Edward, I decided, well, I'll pick June 30th to do it. In case you don't know, the moment of peace is a reading, silence, music, treatment, music. Okay, are we ready? A while back, the news informed me there was 60% chance of rain on Sunday. With the dry weather we'd had, I welcomed it. Water in metaphysics symbolizes spirit. In Carl Jung's lexicon, it stood for the emotions. Regardless of which definition we use, it's quite interesting that we are experiencing a drought. This was many years ago when it was written. How many of us are really in touch with our emotions? The emotion that most of us seem to know intimately is anger. It can show up in myriad effects, from irritation to resentment or a full-on yelling match with a beloved, where we'll walk away wondering, what's up with that? That's not my normal behavior. One day on an animal program on TV, scientists reported that fear turns to attack within 60 seconds. 60 seconds. I heard that in my heart. Now when I feel angry, my question is, what am I afraid of? Many people still have the idea that spirit is outside of us, only working for those that are really, really, really good people. Believing this, we feel the absence of spirit in our lives, and instead of working our way back or going within, we continue blindly through our lives thinking we are alone and that we have to do it all ourselves. Most of us intellectually believe God is love. We all desire to be loved and to love, and then look for it outside ourselves. When I feel this way, my question is, where am I resisting love? Water is everywhere. There really isn't less water than there was before. It's only in different forms or different places. What are we collectively doing to perpetuate the idea of drought, whether it's in our physical or spiritual lives? Religious science is the science of the mind and the religion of the heart. Perhaps as we turn within, honor our feelings, and the spirit within us, all droughts will cease. I'm ready to immerse myself in all aspects of spirit. Want to join me for a swim?
One breath, one body, one life in all. One cup of blessing which we share. And we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one life.
There is only that one life, the life of the divine. That life permeates absolutely everything, including us. And so we celebrate that life this morning as we allow ourselves to let go and let God move through us as what it truly is, the energy of love. I know for each one of us that as we move through this service, the rest of our service, as we leave to go out into our lives, we allow ourselves to do so, letting go of all of our past hurts, letting go and being divine love in action. And this is a good thing, a very good thing. And so it is.
And we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this world.
Thank you, Jackson. That was the perfect song. So we've been talking about living boldly all this month. And this last Sunday, I thought I would invite us to remember that what each one of us are doing is living as a unique expression of the divine. And if we allow ourselves to, we can step into that even more boldly than we have before. And so when I was thinking about this idea of living as a unique expression, I started thinking about how we all have our own unique signature. We have fingerprints that are like none others. We have dental patterns that are like none others. We have iridology patterns that are like none others, and probably other things that I'm not aware of. One of the things that I thought about, though, was we all have thoughts, and yet our thoughts are not the same. In fact, if I mention to you a kitten, what pops into your mind immediately? Angelica. Furry. What else?
Ball of yarn.
What?
A ball of yarn.
A ball of yarn. Oh, that's cool, yeah. Purring, definitely, yeah. Hairballs.
I'm gonna put in the bird killer.
Bird killer. Yeah, see? Everybody
I'm a
is,
birder.
yeah.
I like that.
And you know what? It doesn't matter. I love the idea that we are not automatons. You know, we don't all think exactly the same. We don't all have identifying patterns that are exactly the same. We're unique individuals, very unique, even to our thoughts. I mean, you could be at a baseball game, for instance, and somebody hits a ball and it goes way out in the field, and everybody's thinking, I hope they catch it, or that guy catches it, if that's your team on the field. And yet, we're not all saying, I hope they catch it, right? We're thinking about it in our own unique ways. That makes me realize that when we're in conversation with each other, we can no longer think that they think the way we do. I've had a few conversations where I've been surprised that somebody didn't think the way I did because I had assumed that they did. And then I realized, well, they sort of did, just in a different way, right? So it makes communicating with each other a more interesting procedure, you might say. Because if I'm speaking to you, what I have to realize is that I'm speaking from my past perceptions and my points of view, and when you're speaking from your past perceptions and your points of view. They might not necessarily be the same. But that's another place where we're so unique, and how wonderful it is that we are unique. And so when we allow ourselves to really embrace our individuality, and we allow ourselves to know that all the gifts and qualities that make us unique are from our divine nature, then we get closer and closer to this experience of the divine, and are able to spread love and peace, etc., out into the world. I had this idea just now of seeing, I think it was a movie, where I saw this amazing tapestry that had, the old-fashioned tapestries that had like the unicorns and the young woman and, a beautiful scenic thing. And there was a big area of the tapestry that was bare. It hadn't been stitched yet. And what I also realized as I was thinking about that tapestry was that this is a tapestry of life. And each one of us is threading our own unique self into this tapestry of life. And we don't want to be the same as every other piece of yarn in that tapestry. We want to be unique and different and individual. And so it's a fun thing for me to think, I belong here. My thread in this tapestry belongs here. Your thread in this tapestry belongs here. We're all part of the uniqueness of God. In fact, Dr. Holmes says in 365 Science of Mind, we are all just a little unique, for each wears a different face, but behind each is the one presence, God. Unity does not mean uniformity. Unity means that everything draws its strength, its power, and its ability to live from the one source. I suddenly thought of being a teenager. And I remember there was a group of us that sat during breaks and lunch outside the school gates, not far enough away to get called in as being truant or anything, but just far enough. And we all wore the same clothes. It was like there was no uniqueness. It was like an embarrassment to be unique. But then we started growing up and realized, uniqueness is important in how we dress and how we act and everything. And so what I also realized when I was thinking about this grand tapestry is that our uniqueness allows us to make a valuable and significant contribution to the world. If you think about the people, somebody that you might admire that is doing that, making a valuable contribution to our world, there might be some things that they're doing that we do, but they're doing something a little different, and that's what makes them unique. So I thought of two things that living as a unique expression require. The first one is authenticity. We're told, for instance, as women, that we're supposed to show up a certain way. And we can show up a certain way when we go out at night, but when we go to the office, we're supposed to show up a different certain way. So we're supposed to act a certain way. Men and women are taught that as children. You're supposed to act a certain way, etc. We don't really get into the idea of authenticity until we get off on our own. As children, we're supposed to follow a pattern. And perhaps those patterns are changing, but we're still supposed to follow some sort of a pattern. So authenticity is a prerequisite to showing up just as we are. So one of the things we know is that Dr. Holmes says here in The Science of Mind There is a pattern of God behind our personality, seeking unique expression through it. And to this we should surrender everything we are, for this surrender will not lead us away from reality, and that's reality with a capital R. It is not an escape, but a revelation and instrumentation of something greater than we appear to be. I mean, what if we really believed that we were an authentic, unique expression of the divine? Think for a moment about that. How would your life be different if you really believed that who you are is more than you think you are right now? I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about aging. I mean, in a couple weeks I'm going to be 76, and I kept going, how could that be? Aren't I 50? That's what I think I am. And I remember as a kid noticing that women that were my age wore clunky shoes and weird dresses, and they looked like old ladies. My version of old ladies, which I got as a child, of course. And I thought, boy, have times changed. Old ladies don't look like that anymore. Don't look like that at all. So maybe what's happening is that we are beginning to be more authentically who we are, who we really are. Do you know that every single thing there is in the world, whether it's human, plant, animal, celestial, or otherwise, is important to life? Absolutely everything. And so when we look at nature, which is one of my great teachers, my roses are going like crazy right now, just like that red one is out there on the front porch. They're just going like crazy. And they've got morning glory vines wind up them that I continually pull every day. It seems like those morning glory vines grow at least 3 feet a day. But morning glories are just doing what they do. No matter how many times I might try to rip them out, they're just doing what they do, right? The roses are just doing what they do. They don't have to, when you chop your roses back in wintertime, you're supposed to do it so that everything grows not quite out of the center, but around the center, but up, not out. My roses are growing out. They're very unique, and they seem to be really happy being unique, just like that bush out there does. So everything, absolutely everything, is important to this grand tapestry, this unique tapestry of life. And what I know is that we're continually being invited to fully live out loud with an attitude of a grand rising, which is our year's motto, for a new day and a new way of life right now. Every day is a brand new day. Every day has the potential in it for us to be even more unique and more wonderful and more loving and more compassionate. My second one is labels. Labels and identities. That's one of the things I believe that stops us from being authentically who we are. There's lots of labels. I mean, there's gender labels, sexual identity labels, color labels, culture labels. There's a label for everything. And some labels we like and some labels we don't. But what if we actually allowed ourselves to realize that they're part of this great tapestry as well? If all the threads were the same color, what a boring tapestry that would be. For me, every label that I can think of right now, if we were all that way, it would be boring. It wouldn't be as individual and unique as it is. And yet, some people have decided that those people with who they've labeled are not approved of or are not appreciated and are trying to do something about it. I don't want to get political, but I'm going to. And I'm going to just say this. I'm not going to say any names, but I'm going to ask you to look up Project 2025 and read it. It is the scariest document I have ever read in my life.
Only 1,000 pages.
970. But I feel that we're in a time of our life, time of our country's life, where it's important for all of us to be informed. I know I've talked to so many people who say, well, I don't like either of them, so I'm not going to vote. Well, thank you very much. I think it's our responsibility as unique individuals creating or co-creating this universe, this country, this city, this life with the divine, for us to do what is our part and to stay informed about it. Eric Butterworth in The Creative Life writes, yes, you are the divine original, and the divine intent active as you has one desire, to express expansively and creatively in its uniqueness as the perfect idea it is in infinite mind. This is your spiritual destiny. So when I look at an overview of what's happening politically in our country and in many other countries of the world, there is something, whether I like it or not, I have to know that something much higher is going on here. That doesn't release me from taking my responsibilities as a citizen. But I'm still, as a spiritual person, going to know that there's something much greater happening here. And I'm going to keep calling on that something much greater, because I know that something much greater is both loving and compassionate and kind and good. I'm not going to do it in a way that I say, oh, there's something much greater happening here and it's awful. We have to constantly remind ourselves, it's done unto us as we believe. So I'm asking you to join me in knowing that something good, something much greater is happening around the planet. It made me think just now of my experiences in my own life where just before I turned the corner and everything got really good, everything seemed to go to pieces. Everything seemed to look bad just before it turned and became really good. And so maybe that's where we are right now. I think I've said this a few times over the 10 years that I've been here. So maybe we need to start knowing to a higher degree what it is that we want. What I want is love. What I want is to remember that we're all created very uniquely, that life is intending us to live this life, life being God, is inviting us practically to live this life more greatly, more grandly than we have before. So in doing this, we have to find our own courage, our own inspiration, our own empowerment, whatever it takes for us to be our authentic, true selves with the labels ripped off or the labels made friends with. I mean, I'm Norwegian, so that's a label, right? Do I want to rip that off? No. That's part of who I am. But I'm not going to, if I was gay, for instance, and people were using that as a slur, I would want to rip the slur aspect of gay off, right? But I would still appreciate my uniqueness. So what I'm asking you to do this week is to really embrace your uniqueness. In fact, look at it. Where am I unique in this world? Who am I? What thread am I in this great tapestry of life? And I also want you to really celebrate your individuality. Where are you different from the people that you're sitting next to? I mean, Louise is a birder. Maybe Judy likes cats. Maybe Burl likes kittens. You know? We're all different. We're all unique. And this is what I really know about you. You're a beloved and precious expression of the divine. And the world needs your uniqueness. It needs it now. It needs your uniqueness and it needs your gifts to bring about greater love, greater harmony, greater peace. So let's read our affirmation. All right, together. I celebrate my individuality, connected to all of life, yet also a unique spiritual being in the greater scheme of the universe. And thank you, Michelle, for writing those this month. And let's go into a spiritual mind treatment. I know for each one of us that we are indeed unique expressions of the one life. We remember there's only one life. That life is divine life. That life is the life we're living right now. And so we choose in this moment to live this divine life, allowing ourselves to appreciate all of our uniqueness, appreciate living in a world that needs us, appreciate experiencing life in a divine way. So I know for each one of us that as we move about our spiritual path this week, and all of life is a spiritual path, as we move about our path this week, we begin to see the uniqueness that is everywhere. We begin to appreciate those uniquenesses. And we begin to see if we've labeled anything negatively, then we tear those labels off. And we put on a new one that says this is a unique expression of the divine. The labels that we've put on out there, the labels that we're putting on ourselves, we keep the ones we like that make us that individual. And we let go of all the rest. I know for each one of us that we are on a magnificent journey, a journey that is about recognizing the divinity that is absolutely everywhere. As we look in the mirror, as we look into our eyes, we see the divinity of the divine. As we look into each other's eyes, we see the divinity of the divine. We see this wonderful divine energy absolutely everywhere. We breathe it in, we walk through it, we experience it in the foods that we eat, the things that we do, everything, absolutely everything, as unique as it is still one thing, an expression of the divine. So we give thanks for knowing this. We give thanks for knowing this because we know that in our conscious awareness of this, And as we continue to broaden our awareness of this, compassion, love, kindness, peace, health, prosperity, all of these things flow into us easier than they've ever done before. So we're grateful, so grateful for all of it. And so it is. Donna is giving us the gift of music this morning. Let's give her a hand.
So as we close out the theme of the month, Holy Boldness, I recall a couple of weeks ago, Angelica talked about honoring our intuition. And that means in my vernacular, when Spirit speaks, we listen and we do what, for me, to do what is the message. Because lots of times I get in lots of trouble if I don't do that. It's unique to me, I'm sure. And I'm really, really pleased with the musicianship that we have in this place. Well, you gotta move when the Spirit says move. You gotta move when Spirit says move. Move in faith, Spirit shows the way. Move when Spirit says move. You gotta stand when Spirit says stand. You gotta stand when Spirit says stand. Take a stand and you lend a hand. Stand when Spirit says stand. Hey. Ooh, yeah. Well, you gotta walk when Spirit says walk. You better walk when Spirit says walk. You're on sacred ground no matter where you're bound. Or walk when Spirit says walk. Now we pray when Spirit says pray. We pray when Spirit says pray. First you treat and then you move your feet. Pray when Spirit says pray. You gotta stand when Spirit says stand. Stand up when Spirit says stand. Move your feet when you treat. Stand when Spirit says stand. You gotta move when Spirit says move. You gotta move when Spirit says move. Take a stand, lend a hand. And move when the Spirit says move. You gotta walk when the Spirit says walk. Walk when the Spirit says walk. You're on sacred ground no matter where you're bound. Walk when the Spirit says walk. Just move when the Spirit says move. Move when Spirit says move. Move in faith, you'll be shown the way. I move when Spirit says move. You gotta move when Spirit says move. Move when Spirit says move. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Donna, and musicians. That was great. So now is our time for giving. So let's read our affirmation. Take a breath. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance knowing my gift blesses the center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. So we bless these gifts. We bless the people that gave them. We know that the center is blessed by them. And it's all about spirit. This is spirit's energy right here and right now. And we give thanks for this. And so it is. Who would like to read our community statement of inclusion today?
Well,
Can you see it better on there?
no, I'm fine.
Read this one.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
thanks, Mom. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners, so that we may grow together and understand that oneness is not sameness. And join me. We would know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Thank you very much. So we have a little bit of time. We could have some demonstrations. I want to remind you that what a demonstration is it's something that you've used treatment for, or you've asked a practitioner to treat for you, and that it's come forth, it's manifested. So does anyone have anything?
And it's a miracle.
Well, you know what? Let's wait and see if somebody else does, okay? Because you do it almost every week.
I still relax because I'm that sick.
That's true. And now you're healthy, which is good. Anna wants to do one?
There were a couple of reasons that I joined the center. One was to commit a commitment, as they say, and something to get up for in the morning, motivation, and deeper relationships with acquaintances, not just supermarket relationships. Hey, I love you, man, for 45 minutes, and then I don't call you and I don't know anything about you. And it's really hard to do that if you don't have children, haven't shared the carpool and all of the business that goes on. And I just want to thank you guys, because when I had that flu thing, or whatever, it wasn't a flu, 3 people came over and they brought me, Rose brought me oranges, and Rick gave me some chicken soup, and and someone else. And so that is actually really the first time in my life that I've had anyone check in on my well-being. So to me, this is a successful relationship that I'm very, very happy to be a part of. Thank you all very much.
Hi, I gave Michelle that prayer for a little girl that had just been born, and they had to transfer to Sacramento. But I found out through miracles, through the church of the prayer, that she's going to make it, and that she's going to have mild brain damage, but that's it. But she's making it. They're not back yet, but they're doing okay, and I keep in touch with the people who they keep in touch with. So thank you for all your prayers, and God bless you.
And if you'd like to stand and join me in singing the peace song, I invite you to do so. Stand up and be counted. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Hey.
Next Sunday, by the way, everybody, will be potluck Sunday, birthday Sunday, so remember that. And thank you for being here today.